here as close to on schedule as possible.
We'll let you know when we're up. And we are live.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Dill. I'm the Senate Chair of IFW Committee, and I want to welcome everybody here this morning. We've got two bills to hear today and a briefing from the IFW Department on disposable or biodegradable hooks and lures. And don't forget, this is an electronic meeting. We're trying to make sure that everything goes smoothly, and we're working hard at that. Please keep your mics muted until you wish to speak, and you're called upon by one of the chairs to speak. And make sure your name is the way you want it to appear at the bottom of your video feed. And if the committee especially would be sure that they have either representatives there so people know which ones we are for the committee hearing. And the process will be that we'll start with the sponsor and then followed by department people that's going to testify. And then we'll go to the general public, and the general public will have 3 minutes of testimony for their testimony, and I will have timers here, which you'll probably hear ding if you get your 3 minutes, and I'll ask you to stop at that time. At some point, I will list the next 3 people. At that time, our clerk, Linda, will promote them from attendee to participant. And that's when, you know, as I say, you'll get to go ahead and testify. Occasionally we have people on phone. So I think today, actually, I don't see him at the moment, but Representative Martin was having some video problems. So I think he was going to try to participate by phone. And there is toll-free numbers to call. So with that, I will go ahead and have the committee introduce themselves. I'll just go across as I see them. So Representative Neto.
Good morning, everyone. Kathy Netto. I represent the town of Winslow and a portion of Benton.
Thank you. Next is Representative Martin. Danny.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, folks. My name is Danny Martin. I am a state representative, and I represent House 150, located in northern Worcester County.
Thank you, Senator Black.
Good morning, Senator Black, representing Senate District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec.
Representative Mason.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm Rick Mason, District 56, Lisbon.
Representative Ordway.
Good morning. I'm Representative Lester Ordway. I represent District 23, which is part of the town of Standish.
Senator Curry.
Good morning. I'm Senator Chip Curry, and I represent Senate District 11, which includes the rural, coastal, and island communities of Waldo County.
Representative Landry.
Good morning, Scott Landry. I represent District 113, the towns of Farmington and New Sharon.
Thank you. Representative Terrio.
Good morning. I'm Representative Tim Terrio. I represent District 79, which is Albion, most of Benton, China, and Unity Plantation.
Representative Lyford.
Yes, Peter Lyford, District 129, which is Clifton, Eddington, Holden, Northborough, and Vesey.
Thank you. And Representative Alley.
I represent Killensport, Beals, Addison, Harrington, Columbia Falls, Centerville, Jonesboro, Whitneyville, and Marshfield, and District 138.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our committee clerk this morning is Linda LaCroix. She's the one who tries to keep every one of us straight here and on the time that we try to keep to. And our analyst is Rachel Olson. And Rachel is, as I said, our analyst, takes notes and will be coming back to us at the work sessions to outline everything. So with that, we have, as I said, two bills this morning to hear. The first one is LD 257, an act to expand the hunting season for deer, and that is Representative Perry.
Good morning, Senator Dill and Representative Landry and members of the Committee on Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. My name is Wayne Perry. I represent House District 10, which covers Arundel, Dayton, and part of Lyman. I am here as sponsor of LD 257, an act to expand the hunting season for deer. I have brought this bill forward for a constituent, Bob LaFlemme, who has had some ideas about possible changes to the deer hunting season. I bring this as a concept draft as a vehicle for the committee and the department to possibly make some changes to the deer hunting season. The reason he came to me was an issue of so many deer needed to be cut during the very beginning of the firearm season. He was forced to turn many away, which was a problem because there was so few deer cutters in the area. There were a couple of ideas he brought to me. First, possibly increasing the time of the youth hunting season, possibly giving them a week instead of only one day prior to the firearm season. This may take some pressure off that first week. Also, possibly increasing the expanded archery area that may also help with the pressure on cutters. Hopefully, Bob will be able to testify and he'll be able to explain this a lot better than I. I don't know about you, but I'll be glad when we can do this in person again. Something seems to be missing doing all this over the computer. I really hope we're not leaving the public out of this process. Thank you very much, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, Representative Perry. Are there any questions? Okay, somebody's hand just went up. Nope, it's not. I guess there are no questions. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
I don't see anybody on this one from the department to testify. Is that correct, Linda? And I don't have anyone else to testify either. You're muted, Linda.
Supposedly the space bar is supposed to unmute you, but it didn't. Yes, actually, Nate Webb is here to testify on this bill. And then also I do have Bob LaFlemme in the waiting room, although he was not on the list.
Okay, very
So
good.
I'll bring them both in.
Okay, bring them both in, please. You there, Nate? There you go.
I'm here.
Sorry about that. I was looking at the next bill where it actually says there's no department testimony, not this bill. So
No.
You're
problem.
on.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Committee. I am Nate Webb, Wildlife Division Director, speaking on behalf of the department in opposition to LD 257. This bill would expand the regular firearms and regular archery seasons on deer. This bill is currently a concept draft, but our understanding is that the intent is to lengthen the regular firearms and regular archery seasons in order to spread the deer harvest out over a longer period. This would lessen the burden on meat cutters who sometimes must turn customers away during periods of high harvest and high demand for meat cutting services. The impacts of lengthening deer hunting seasons would be broad and should only be considered if there is strong evidence that it is necessary to effectively manage Maine's deer population. Longer seasons would likely increase the proportion of antlerless deer permits that are successfully filled, which would require the department to reevaluate allocation strategies and compensate by issuing fewer permits in many wildlife management districts. While we could recalibrate permit allocations over time to maintain acceptable levels of antlerless harvest, lengthening these seasons would also result in an increase in the buck harvest, potentially impacting the department's ability to accurately assess metrics of population health and stability. This could lead to disparity in both age and sex structure in our deer population in many parts of the state. Additionally, we are concerned that longer deer hunting seasons may not be supported by private landowners or cause conflicts between hunters or with non-hunters that have grown accustomed to our current hunting season framework. Adding additional time to the regular firearm season into December would direct hunting pressure on deer during their yarding period and concentrate hunting effort into smaller habitat patches, thus creating additional conflicts with landowners and a perception of fair chase issues. Similarly, starting deer hunting seasons earlier in the fall would increase the amount of overlap with bear, moose, and upland game hunters, likely leading to conflicts between these hunters. The department recognizes that finding a place to have wild game animals prepared and packaged for consumption can be challenging. There has been a decline in the number of businesses offering this service, and some of those that continue to operate occasionally turn customers away due to lack of capacity. We believe this is a complex issue that can be addressed through several related approaches, including taking steps to better connect hunters and meat cutters, promoting meat cutting as a business opportunity, and increasing the number of hunters that cut and package their own game animals. The department's R3 program has recently offered several in-person and virtual seminars to better prepare hunters to process their own deer, and we are currently working on updates to our website that will improve the ability of hunters to find a meat cutter in their area. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time or during the work session.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Representative Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I noticed that this is a concept piece of legislation and the department is testifying in opposition. I was just wondering if the sponsor was interested in drafting language or if he desired the committee to work on this.
Yeah, that was my whole point, was to put it in this way, and that way the committee and the department could work together. I spoke with a lady at the department earlier about it and was trying to explain it, but maybe Bobby can help a lot better with explanation on what really, you know, what could be done. I understand the department's position totally, but I think there could be some little tweaks we could make. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Representative Leifert.
Thank you, Senator Dill. My question was, I was interested in your comment on teaching hunters how to process their own game. Is that a public meeting that would happen in 2021 in different locations of the state?
Yes, we have actually offered a number of those opportunities, both in person that are open to the public as well as virtual that are available online. And we plan to continue to do that throughout this year and moving forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Seeing none. Again, thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Laflamme. I thought I saw him there a minute ago. There you go. You're muted, sir. Mr. Laflamme, you're muted.
Now. Okay, how about that? Can you hear me now?
I can.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Yeah, I spoke with Representative.
Would you introduce yourself and where you're from first? Thank you.
Yes, sir. My apologies. My name is Robert Flom. We operate a meat cutting facility down here in Arundel, LaFlamme's. We also tag and register wild game for the state of Maine. This will be our 7th year doing that. So it's an exciting little thing we do also. And this year, so many things came to light with the overload of doe permits issued during the gunning season. We took a step back and took a deep breath and reached out to Wayne with a couple of thoughts and ideas. So is that basically what Wayne had, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, what I spoke to Representative Perry about, the two key things, the department has a really good setup, really good system. They got a lot of good things happening. A couple of things we saw that used to be were the expanded zone was east of the turnpike. That spread the early season bow hunters out. It heightened license sales, which was really good. And it gave these guys a little more room and time to harvest their early season deer. So when they bumped those zones back to right along the coast, you had a lot of conflict of hunters on private property. This is my spot. You shouldn't be here. And I understood why the department did it. We had a few bad winters and harvest was going up. And here we are coming off another mild winter. It's shaping up to be. So this was a thought that doesn't have much change, but will do leaps and bounds for the harvest and for the license sales. The other thought was given the kids, where right now they currently have one youth day, which is tough. Kids are very busy. Weather's very hard to predict. And this is the future of our hunting. So if we could offer these kids the week, like Monday through that Saturday, it would be the youth hunting week. We'd get more kids off the couch into the field, and we'd be ensuring our future. So these are two little tweaks I feel that we could focus on to help everybody's agenda.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Laflamme? Seeing none. Again, thank you for your testimony. Up, so did Senator Black.
Question for Mr. Laflamme. When you said extend the youth hunting season the week, would that be the week before or the week after between Youth Day and regular firearms?
We were thinking the week before, that Monday leading up to that Saturday, which is the Youth Day, and then that gives the woods a break prior to the hunting season. Because there is a lot going on, as the department pointed out. The woods are very busy this time of year, and just that week prior to.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Seeing no other questions, Linda, is there anyone else? Thank you. Is there anyone else to testify?
Not for this bill, Senator, that I have on my list.
Okay, thank you. Then I will close the hearing on LD 257. And we'll go right in. Thank you, everyone. We'll go right into the next one, which is LD 280, an act to increase funding for snowmobile trails and capital equipment grants. Representative Danny Martin. And before we do that, Danny, could Representative Hepler introduce herself, please?
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I'm just ran over from class. I'm Allison Hepler. I represent House District 53, which includes the towns of Aroustic, Georgetown, Phippsburg, Woolwich, where I live, Dresden, and part of Richmond. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Representative Martin, please.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. Good morning, folks. Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the Committee on Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. My name is Danny Martin. I represent House 150, located in northern Worcester County. I am also a proud member of this outstanding committee. I am pleased this morning to present LD 280, an act to increase funding for snowmobile trails and capital equipment grants. This bill changes the resident and non-resident registration fees for snowmobiles and uses the increased fee to help fund the Snowmobile Trail Fund and the fund responsible for capital equipment grants. The fee for resident registrations is increased by $10, and the fee for non-resident registrations are increased by $20. It is important to note that these registration increases are all dedicated for the improvement of our snowmobile trail system statewide and capital equipment grants. Others will be testifying or have submitted written testimony regarding the financial impact snowmobiling has on our state, which is well over $600 million per year. If you recall, folks, this committee voted on a similar bill dealing with ATV registrations and size limits when we met, I believe in August, when we met in the House of Representatives, if you recall. I believe at the time the vote was unanimous of those present and voting. This bill, however, died because we did not return as expected to finish our work during the 129th. I'm not aware that this ATV bill has been reintroduced, but if it has, I would strongly suggest that we hold LD 280, this particular bill, and work the two bills together. I thank you for listening and would attempt to answer any questions, but I'm pretty sure that folks from HCF, the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, will be testifying on this bill. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Representative Martin? Representative Terrio?
Yeah, Representative Martin, would you have any concerns about us raising the fee for snowmobiling even more for out-of-staters? Because I believe it's way undervalued for what they're getting. And I believe that it's a great opportunity for us to really make a big impact on the snowmobilers.
That clearly, if I may, Mr. Chair, is a prerogative of this committee, and no, there would be no objections from myself. I'm not aware, however, what the position of the Maine Snowmobile Association would be, but I believe they have submitted testimony regarding this bill, and I am aware that Mr. Higgins from ACF will be testifying as well. Great observation, and the answer is no, I would not be opposed to further increasing the fee non-residents.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. I don't have anybody from IFW to testify. Next up will be Joe Higgins from Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, followed by John Monk, Mike Grass, and Susan Rogers. So with that, Mr. Higgins.
Can everybody hear me? Great. Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the Joint Standing Committee on Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. My name is Joe Higgins. I am the supervisor of the snowmobile program in the Bureau of Parks and Lands. I'm speaking neither for nor against LD 280. As the committee considers this bill, I want to provide some context on the value of snowmobiling in Maine and the needs of the snowmobile sector. An economic impact study published by the University of Maine in 2019 indicates that snowmobiling annually generates $606 million for Maine's economy. In the last 5 years, snowmobile use has increased by 35% from 62,797 machines. And then in 2020, that number is 84,595. In the Maine snowmobile program's annual budget, registration revenue accounts for approximately $3 million and gas tax contributing a $1.5 million. As a result, the snowmobile program provides an excellent return on the state's investment. There are two primary ways the snowmobile program assists snowmobile clubs and municipalities. The Snowmobile Trail Fund provides for maintenance and grooming of trails, and the Capital Grant Fund provides money to help purchase grooming equipment. In the 2019-20 season, the Trail Fund contributed $3.94 million towards grooming and trail work. The 290 snowmobile clubs shows costs of a little over $6.3 million. So the state's contribution is 62% of the overall maintenance to these expenses. In addition to trail maintenance responsibilities, clubs also remain challenged to keep up with the growing cost of grooming equipment. $5 of each registration is allocated to the Capital Equipment Grant Fund. In 1999, the total request for equipment was $1.85 million. And in 2019, those requests totaled $3.29 million. The average amount available in the capital equipment grant has been $424,304. Snowmobile club expenses are supported by fundraising, volunteers, and donations, and fundraising has been particularly difficult in this past pandemic year. The cost of insurance and equipment is putting snowmobile clubs in jeopardy of dissolving. The reduction in snowmobile clubs results in trail closures, and the maintenance challenges caused by limited funding can result in reduced safety on trails. Ultimately, we want to ensure that snowmobile clubs have the resources they need to maintain trails for ecological and safety reasons. At the same time, the Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry is coherent of the fact that pandemic has created economic uncertainty for many. And we would not want to see an increase in fees serve as a barrier to registration for those financially impacted by the pandemic. Snowmobiling is a vital part of Maine's growing outdoor economy, and the department supports the committee in its efforts to liberate on the most effective ways to ensure that snowmobiling remains safe and accessible as a fundamental part of Maine's winter economy. Thank you, and I can answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Higgins? Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Higgins. You're talking to somebody who doesn't own a snowmobile, so but I am a select person in my town. So how does this work? Does any money, do towns or do clubs request money from both of these funds?
Yes, there's an application process in place, and so each snowmobile has the same opportunities to apply for grants.
Okay, and I have a follow-up question, if I may.
Sure.
So does any of this money, I'm confused about this, does any of this money go back when you register your snowmobile? Does any of that money stay in the towns?
It does. $6.62 of each snowmobile registered goes back to the municipality that it was registered in.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Lightfoot.
Thank you, Senator Dill. How many grooming machines are we short, would you guess, in this state?
How many groomers are there in the state? Is that the question?
No, how many are we short? How many more do we really use? I mean, we got, what, 3 new ones last year from Senator Collins arranged for that. And I was just wondering, are we way short of them? We have plenty? Just an estimate, if you might give me an idea.
Sure.
What you might have applications for.
I sure do. Bear with me just a second here and I'll get that for you. Okay. So that program, the capital equipment grant program that's available to each club is started, it looks like in 1998 when it was implemented, and the first season that we received applications was in the year 1999. Right now, based on the cost of what equipment is doing, we're right now reimbursing clubs at 17.6% of what the cost of the equipment is. The question is, are we short on grooming equipment in the field? I would have to say yes. A lot of clubs right now are really in desperate need of better equipment. Some of them are still operating equipment that's in the 70s. And so, you know, every club out there wants something that's safe. They want something that's reliable, and it's getting difficult now to replace some of that the way it is right now.
So the need is there and this funding would help.
It would, yes, it would. We received since the program started, we've received 1,155 applications. And we constantly get it. We probably get somewhere between 40 and 50 applications every year. And there's just not enough funds to be able to help all of them.
Thank you.
Representative Ordway.
Yes, for Mr. Higgins. Could you just give us a little bit of the data, like how many clubs are there and how many miles do these clubs groom in a year?
Okay, so there's approximately 290 clubs statewide, and they're maintaining and taking care of around 14,000 miles. So almost every community is affected with the snowmobile trails. And each club manages anywhere from, again, it depends on the distance between communities. Some clubs there's a long distance, like in the county areas down east, maybe in Western Maine. Each club could be managing maybe 100 miles to even 200 miles. And then the more populated areas, the clubs are maintaining anywhere from 30 to 50 miles of trails, each club.
Great, thank you. Anyone else for questions? Representative Landry.
Thank you, Joe. Have you had a chance to do the math as to what these proposed increases would bring in?
I have. Of course, it's based on if registrations stay where they are at, and that would be, let's see, I had it right here. Well, I did put it together. Give me just a moment. Okay, it looks like based on the registration numbers for non-resident and residents, it would generate about $900,000 to the programs. With the way that the bill's written, half that would go to the capital equipment grant program, and then the other half would go to the trail maintenance fund program.
Very good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Senator Curry.
Thank you, Chairman Dill. Could you mention, Mr. Higgins, you mentioned the a 17% number. Could you restate that? Is
Sure.
that, yeah, so I have a better understanding of 17% of what?
Okay, so every club puts in an application for whatever they might be trying to buy or upgrade their equipment. Last year, I used the 17% because last year's applications, dollars that they were applying for or asking for help on was $2,346,503. And our program, the state of Maine's program, contributed towards those purchases of $413,000. So the state of Maine's program, helped towards $2.3 million worth of application. You can kind of see the shortfall.
Great. I understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Hepler.
Actually, that was my question, so I'm good.
Okay. Representative Lyford.
Thank you, Senator Dill. Joe, what's the cost of one of these grooming machines?
Well, some of the new equipment now that's out there and available can be upwards of $250,000. And some of it's even more than that with the new emissions that are in place.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Terrio.
Yes, so does that 17% change depending on how many requests for monies is put in?
Yes, it does. It obviously makes the difference on how many snowmobiles are registered, because $5 from each snowmobile that's registered goes into that fund. So if registration numbers are down, then those dollars available are down. And it also makes a difference on how many applications come in. So that number moves around from year to year. I can say that since the program was implemented, the percentage has been 28.47% over the life of the program.
Senator Curry.
Thank you, Chairman Dill. Sorry to follow up on that. Can you speak to is the average percent of a single application that you fund? So do you have a bias to try to fully fund a project, an applicant, or do you have an expected cost share that you're not going to go over 50%, for example? How does that work?
To answer your question, yes. Within the application, there is rules and guidelines that we have to go by. The maximum amount that a snowmobile club can apply for through our grant program is $200,000. So if they go out and purchase something for $250,000, they can apply for $200,000 of that towards us. The maximum percentage right now, the way it is because of funding, is at 40%. So theoretically, if they applied for the $200,000 at the 40%, the maximum amount they would receive from the state of Maine snowmobile build program would be $80,000. And then the rest of it, they come up with themselves, fundraisers, that sort of thing.
Representative Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was wondering, this is for Mr. Higgins, if how old this grooming fleet is. I mean, is everything coming to an end where everything needs to be replaced, or is this stuff we're adding?
It's most of the, I would have to say, most all of the applications that come in are replacing old equipment.
Okay.
And the supply and demand is there on what they need help getting this equipment. But yeah, it's replacing, it's not adding to the fleet.
Okay. Right. And I know this goes by how much it's used and everything, but what's some of the oldest equipment we have out there? I mean, how old is it?
Well, I know that some clubs are operating 1978 Tuckers.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I have 3 folks still on my list to testify: John Monk, Mike Grass, Susan Rogers. And we have Representative Martin on the phone to introduce himself. I have to step out for a moment, so Representative Landry will take over and I should return shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Martin, do you want to introduce yourself?
I've asked him to.
John Martin, 1 District 151, Northern Aroostook County, and I want to tell you, if you were in northern Maine last weekend, you couldn't move. There were more snowmobiles there than there were people.
Very good. Thank you. That's good to hear. Who is next? Linda?
I believe John Monk.
Well, thank you for this opportunity, Honorable 130th Legislature and the IFW Committee. I'm representing the Maine Snowmobile Association, and we're proudly standing here with our clubs to support LD 280 to increase snowmobile registrations. The Maine Snowmobile Association is a 53-year-old organization proudly representing 290 clubs, as Joe mentioned. Our primary goal is to promote, to educate safety related, and in this case, economically supporting the industry in Maine. At our November meeting, our board of directors voted to move forward with a strong, organized proposal. In today's current world conditions, the state maintained data and the Maine economic results clearly demonstrate the importance of this bill. To no surprise, MSA and the club's income has not only stalled, but in many cases been completely curtailed this season. While our clubs and volunteers are some of the most resourceful on the planet, fundraisers or traditional fundraisers such as bingo, landowners dinners, open clubhouses have been off the table. On a similar front, MSA also lost our annual show, which is our primary source of income to sustain a lobbyist and an executive director. So I appreciate the opportunity to represent that as a volunteer. Now, the timing couldn't be worse. 5 years ago, when we were doing the same process, MSA stated to the legislature that we would come back in 5 years and revisit our rate structure. And coupled with the pandemic, that day is here. In 2012, MSA supported Public Law 48, a resolve to have the snowmobile program clearly document the dollars paid by our registrations. Not only has the program met the need, they clearly have rung the overachieve bell, producing documentation of clubs and costs and expenditures to every penny. Through this process, MSA and the snowmobile program have built a better relationship other states are striving for. This data clearly shows the continued backwards path and can clearly be explained by the program, which Joe has done a tremendous job. While clearly this is not the place for an attaboy, I'd like to thank the program and what Joe just did, because he can provide data that probably wouldn't have existed otherwise. The proof of this importance could not be more evident, as he mentioned in the economic impact study revealed almost a year ago today. This collaborative 2-year project produced by the University of Maine astounded $606 million of income for the state of Maine. This easily becomes evident scanning our above mentioned data, highlighting only an input of barely 5 million. This is clearly a no-brainer, and this can be said as thanking our landowners across the state of Maine, as we are 95% privately owned. This bill, in its most simplest form, is asking snowmobilers to economically support snowmobiling. Please consider supporting the MSA, its clubs, and its volunteers with support for LD 280. I'm a past president of the MSA and a local club in year 2018 and 2019. So I thoroughly appreciate the chance to speak, and I'll entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Monk, for the work you do. Representative Lyford? You're muted.
Thank you, Representative Landry. The thought that Representative Terrio had on the, going a little higher on the out of state, is any comments on that, John?
I guess I'd like to throw a shout out to Mr. Terrio for swinging the bat at that. I will share that our neighbors in New Hampshire currently pay plus above 3 figures to register in their own state. So going a little bit above that in our state, I feel is appropriate. We've had clubs ask our residents to go for much more than we have. The association itself kind of went with the formula we predicted, being the pandemic year, and also not everyone does use their snowmobile for snowmobile trail use. Well, I would say the majority do. So there may be a little bit of opposition with that. Maine benefits in a few ways because we do not have mandatory insurance where other states do. So if you roll the whole cost of snowmobiling in together, that's a savings that Maine has. Maine also maintains double and possibly triple trail that other states maintain. So for bang for your buck, we're still the best game in town. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you, it does.
Representative Terrio, I believe you're next.
Thank you, Representative Landry. Yeah, I'm a big snowmobiler, and I go to Canada, and I pay $400 for a pass to ride in Canada. So I'm on the page of saying that we need to substantially ask for an increase in out-of-staters, like $200. I'm not going a little bit. We're going to make an impact. We're going to make an impact. And I don't think that's even out of the way, because when I'm riding in Canada, there's just as many out-of-staters in Canada from Massachusetts and Connecticut and New York and Pennsylvania. They're all paying $400 to ride in Maine. I mean, in Canada, and then in Maine, they're paying to ride in Maine also. So, I mean, it's not a lot of money we're asking. So I think if we're going to change it, I think we need to change it substantially and make it more equitable, because we have what they want and we do have a good product, and we can make it better by doing that. And if they want to come to Maine, and they will come to Maine. Good gracious, a night's stay and a meal is less than $200. So that's not going to stop them from coming, and we might as well take advantage of it. That's where I'm at.
Thank you. Representative Hepler.
Thank you, Representative Landry. Actually, sort of building on that question, what is the percent? And I guess this is a question for Mr. Higgins, or maybe you know, Mr. Monk. What is the percentage of in-state versus out-of-state?
as far as income or percentage of riders? I would guess I'd answer that with, there's 24% of our ridership is non-resident. And obviously the rest would be resident.
All right, thank you.
Representative Ordway.
Yes, thank you, Representative Landry. For Mr. Monk, you have maybe the percentage of the number of people that are members of clubs and the percentage of those members that are from out of state?
That's a tough one to answer because we go with the number of registrations. But as a club membership, that could be 1 or 2 per family. So the numbers is a little bit possibly skewed. Joe may be able to add something, Mr. Higgins may be able to add some flavor to that because he can document the number of non-residents that come in and join on what we call a 3-day or a 10-day membership as opposed to a full season. If I was going to take a guess, the full season people that are non-residents would probably generally support a club somewhere, but the weekend warriors or the week-long warriors may not be as inclined to do that.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Certainly.
Yeah, so I would just follow up on the raising of the out-of-state fee, the non-resident fee. And I'd do it by this. I think the majority of the work all of the work is done by volunteer club members. And they need to be supported with these funds. And they're doing the work, and the out-of-state need to step up and participate, either get up and volunteer or pay up. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Terrio. Did you have another question, or Representative Lightford, had you another question?
I didn't, thank you.
Okay.
Well, Representative Landry, I think it's imperative that we make sure during the work session that IFW is present and possibly Bill Swan to give us some numbers and see how this is going to affect the industry. Thank you.
Good point. Are there any other questions for Mr. Monk? Seeing none, we'll move on to Mr. Grass.
Good morning, committee members. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Mike Grass. I'm the president of the Maine Snowmobile Association. I have submitted written testimony, but after hearing the speakers today already, it's kind of redundant for me to say basically the same thing. I would say that our clubs struggle every year, and as it's been said already, they are volunteers, and raising money is always harder to do every year with less and less opportunities and fewer volunteers trying to make it all happen. It's truly a miracle when the snow hits the ground that these clubs can get out there and instantly make 14,000 miles of trail appear, and they do it on limited funds with the machinery that they have. If they can't afford new stuff, they keep it running. They do their maintenance, and they're all their work in the fall. And every year we seem to go further and further behind on the opportunities for the grant monies to keep up with the costs that increase every year. I'd like to see this bill go in with an ATV bill as far as registration increase. I would ask that the committee please keep our bill separate and work it by itself, as we are a totally separate sport. We obviously do share some trails, but a lot of the trails that snowmobiles use are not ATV. And like John said, our trails are 95% on private landowners, and we need to keep our system, so to speak, separate from the ATVs. I understand we're both outdoor recreation groups, but we have had a strong organization for over 50 years that looks at our membership and polls them and make sure we know the pulse of our sport. And to go along with Representative Terrio, there are many folks that would like to see us raise it further for the out-of-state folks. We've chosen the figures that we have to try to get this bill through without a lot of opposition, so to speak. And we have had opposition from out-of-state groups already, saying that they're already being charged too much. I don't feel we are. I feel we have a great product. That's why they come here. I agree with you, Representative Terrio. We have a great product, and we probably should charge more for it, but we have to know what our limitations are, I guess. Again, I appreciate you listening to our testimony today, and I hope you all read all of our written testimony, and I entertain any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Grass. Do we have any questions for Mike? Representative Terrio.
Thank you, Representative Landry. Yeah, Mike, I'm suggesting $200, and I don't think that's too much. I really don't. What would you suggest? I mean, I really don't think $200 is even close to being out of the way. But I'd entertain whatever you believe the market can stand. I mean,
while I personally would agree with you, I have to look at the membership as I represent the whole organization. We felt that was an acceptable step to go up 20. That takes them from $100 to $120 for a season pass. Jumping it from 100 to 200 to me would be too large a step. Maybe you could go halfway, but that's a double, and I know we're going to get pushback if we try to go that far.
can I follow up?
Certainly.
Well, and I understand it's a big increase, but the times we have to realize that we just don't have enough money. They don't participate in helping us maintain them other than their registration. Like Representative Lightfoot said, we volunteer to help groom, we do the maintenance, we do all of this stuff without their help. So if you want to participate in our trails, then you need to pay, and it's substantial. I mean, we've already shown the costs are a lot of money. So I agree it's a big step, but I think if we're going to do it, we might as well do it and just bite the bullet. It's not going to stop one snowmobiler from coming. So yeah, they might feel bad and they might complain. It will not stop someone that wants to go snowmobiling, that's enjoyed the county, will not stop coming because they charge a little bit more. I believe the people want to feel bad for them, but they come here because they can afford it. I just spent $17,000 on a new snowmobile. You think $100 is going to make any difference to stop me from going snowmobiling? I don't think so. So they don't come here with old snowmobiles. They come here with brand new trucks, brand new trailers, brand new snowmobiles. And you're talking over $100,000 worth of equipment, and you think $100 is going to bother them? You got to get out of your own head, because that's just crazy. I mean, I appreciate everybody's worried, but the reality is it's nothing.
Just so everybody can see, that's the passion that snowmobilers have right there that Representative Terrio has. And that's people I deal with on a daily basis. And that's why I love what I do. If this committee wants to entertain, raising it further than our suggestion, I guess I can't say that's okay with MSA, but that's up to the committee. I have to represent MSA, and that's what we put on the table. Like I said, if the committee would like to entertain more, I'm sure MSA would be in favor of that, but at this point, I can't say that.
So you probably wouldn't turn the money down.
Of course not.
Representative Danny Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just an observation. They mentioned as to whether this had a financial impact to IFW. I did reach out to the department and spoke to Mr. Swan last week, and they did respond. As the bill is currently written, there is absolutely no financial impact to the department, and the commissioner, of course, could chime in on that. But I will share with you that if we do increase the non-resident fees, that could affect registration numbers, and it could affect, create a financial impact to the department. I just wanted to share that information with you.
Thank you very much. Representative Mason.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious, our trails, there's safety concerns because we don't have the funding to bring these up to where they need to be?
Well, at this time, every year we have safety concerns. The MSA has a great safety chair, and Al Sweat, I'm not sure if any of you know him. He gets out and about, does education and things like that. Our trails, especially the ITS trails, are inspected by the Maine Snowmobile Association Trails Committee. So as far as safety on the main corridors, we make sure that the signage is in place and things like that, especially at road crossings. We try to make sure the intersections are marked properly so that safety is not a concern. The money side of safety, as far as trails go, I wouldn't say this is going to affect or not affect. That's more of a on the ground, making sure the signs are correct and in place and things like that. And that's still done, the inspection process, by volunteers. So at this point, we have, I believe, 3 deaths, which we're almost through February. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. 1 death isn't good, but this is a low number for us this year, and I hope it stays that way.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other questions from Mr. Grass? Seeing none. Linda, is there somebody in the queue?
Not that I can see. Susan Rogers was on the list, but she has not shown up in the waiting room. So I would say that is it for testimony on this bill.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I see Senator Dill is back, and I'll turn it back over to him.
You don't have to do that. You can continue. We're at the end of the session there anyway, I think, to work public hearing.
Okay, then we will close the public hearing on this bill. And the next thing we have is the report from the department on the biodegradable hooks.
I am bringing Francis Brodigan in now.
Francis, you're muted and invisible.
Yes, it seems like every time the defaults are in play, it takes me a few minutes to catch up. Senator Dill, Representative Landry, members of the Fish and Wildlife Committee. My name is Francis Brodigan. I'm the Director of Fisheries with the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Hopefully all of you have received a hard copy or digital copy of the report that I prepared. This morning, I was just planning to touch on some of the highlights regarding efforts to address concerns that were expressed regarding LD 695. Did you all get a copy of that report? Great, thank you. Just as a quick refresher, and I know there's a few new committee members out there that was not part of that earlier process. Last January, the department submitted a report to the 129th Joint Standing Committee in response to concerns that related to LD 695. LD 695 would have banned non-biodegradable soft plastic lures and hooks. We subsequently formed a stakeholder committee, and that stakeholder committee informed the development of that January report, which outlines occurrence of soft plastic lures in Maine waters and fish, and also identified a number of recommendations to reduce the occurrence of soft plastic lures in Maine waters. The following month in February, we received a letter from the committee expressing support for most of the recommendations identified in that January report, with a concerted focus on education and outreach, particularly as it relates to proper disposal of used soft plastic lures, and also use of retention devices that secure soft plastic lures to hooks. So the report that I've submitted to you represents kind of a status update on where we're at in following through with those recommendations. We are moving forward and on the development of an outreach campaign, really with the goal of trying to change angler behaviors that contribute to soft plastic lure occurrence in Maine waters. So that being deliberate disposal of used soft plastic lures, and also inadvertent loss while people are out fishing with soft plastic lures. The department has collaborated with ASA, American Sport Fishing Association. It's a trade group representing the tackle manufacturers. They've been a really great asset. The plan is for each organization to develop content and then share that content. ASA has more of a national focus. They'll be managing content that they develop and that we provide on their Pledge to Pitch It website, which was originally developed to create awareness regarding proper disposal of soft plastic lures. Their audience is a little bit different at the national level. They're going to be working with a lot of professional bass anglers, people that are in the more organized bass fishing scene. Our focus at the state level is really going to be much broader than that. And we're going to really reach out to everybody that uses soft plastic lures and not just the professional bass angling community. So since last February, we've made good progress and we've developed a written plan to implement our education and outreach. ASA had planned actually to hire a marketing company to support their development of content. Unfortunately, they ran into some financial challenges related to COVID, but they have also a very talented internal group of people that were able to support information and outreach development. And so they've made some progress as well in terms of identifying commitments from some of their partners. Really what I'd like to talk about here is what we've got planned for 2021, both for the state focus that IFW will be managing and also the national focus that ASA will be managing. So for 2021, actually as of today, we actually released our campaign. We've got a web page set up on our website that outlines a variety of different content and creating awareness regarding use and disposal of soft plastic lures. We're doing a soft release of that webpage right now because what we would like to do is learn from this experience in terms of what works and what doesn't work, and trying to create public awareness and trying to influence public behavior. So we're actually going to start out with an angler survey that will be distributing to anglers, both probably in-state and out-of-state anglers, to gauge their awareness regarding different issues related to use and disposal of soft plastic lures. And then we'll be redoing that survey at the conclusion of our campaign to see if we've moved the needle, and to see and hopefully learn in terms of what worked and what did not work in influencing that behavior. So we will have an objective approach, I think, to evaluate whether or not we achieved success in moving forward. As part of our campaign, we are planning to develop a number of how-to videos using different soft plastic lure retention devices. We've got several that have been drafted. ASA has been actually working with industry to kind of help with the development of some of those, which has been a really big lift and a help to us. And as those videos become available, we'll be adding additional content to our state webpage. We're also planning to do an email campaign, conduct an email campaign. Our department has over 300 email addresses for people that have purchased fishing licenses, both in and out of state. So our plan is to put together content that will be sending directly to those people that have purchased licenses from the department to create that, that immediate interaction with those folks and awareness of the campaign and some of the concerns surrounding use of soft plastic lures. We also have an effort underway to make use of Facebook, Instagram, where we'll be doing and providing much smaller amounts of content and providing that in social streams that we think will reach a different demographic than those that might be more receptive to emails. We're also hoping to have an in-store present in some of our retail shops in the state. The goal there would be to put together some infographics and hopefully have industry provide some products that we could actually showcase to create awareness for people that are coming into their bait shops to purchase products, so they have a little better awareness. Also probably a link to both our ASA Pledge to Pitch It site as well as the department's website for additional information. ASA in particular will be reaching out to a lot of these national bass tournament professionals. There are actually people out there that get paid to fish, and a lot of those people have pretty strong Facebook social media following, and we're going to try to recruit those people to help out with some of the messaging and delivery of some of the messaging relating to using retention devices and proper disposal. Maine BASS, which is a subgroup from Maine, from the national BASS, they're organizing an effort, a more formal effort, to install soft plastic lure collection devices at state-owned public boat launches, with the goal of encouraging the public to dispose their soft plastic lures there, providing a convenient place to do that. The hope is that we'll have a high level of participation from all the different bass clubs that we have here in the state, and that those bass clubs would be essentially adopting some of the different access sites to maintain those, those drop boxes. Another area that we've added some content is a document called our Maine Fishing Guide. So back a number of years ago, when we decided we didn't want our fishing law book to look as much like a magazine anymore, and we pretty much stripped it right down to just the laws, we moved a lot of the outreach content over to the Maine Fishing Guide. And that's kind of the document that we use to highlight and showcase all of our outreach and information needs. So that's been updated, and we'll continue to update that. On the national side of things, so that part of the campaign that ASA is managing, they have a number of professional bass tournament anglers that are on board and that are going to be working to develop content at the social level, and also some additional videos, again, to help promote proper disposal and use of retention devices. The ASA website, Pledge to Pitch It, is going to be updated with a brand new retention device materials toolkit, which will have everything you need to know about using different types of retention, soft plastic lure retention devices. They're also going to be assisting us with getting industry involved in providing, as I mentioned earlier, information and products that we can hopefully provide at our in-store retailers in the state. There are also ASA plans to be working with Boat US. So that's another trade group that works with the boating industry. And they actually have a recast and recycle soft plastic lure program, where they go out through their program. They encourage people to collect those soft plastic lures that are no longer suitable for use. They get melted back down, and then they get remolded and repurposed again. So that's a good program for ASE to partner with. It's another national program. So in closing, I would offer that I think the proposed campaign that we've outlined here, both one that focuses nationally as well as one that has more of a state focus, represents a pretty significant and meaningful effort to hopefully reduce the presence of soft plastic lures, in our main waters. We're very fortunate to have a very talented information and education division that's going to allow us, I think, to fully implement and execute this in a very high level. ASA has been a wonderful partner, and I'm sure that their contributions will help spread the word not only locally, but nationally. And I'm fairly confident that we'll have a positive, when it's all said and done, we'll have a positive influence on angler behavior that has contributed to the presence of soft plastic lures in main waters. And I hope the angler survey that we do at the conclusion of this campaign shows that. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Francis. That's a very ambitious program you've got there, but top of my mind, is there such a thing as a biodegradable lure?
We covered some of that. I think last year, it's certainly outlined in the report that I provided back in January. The challenge with anything that is labeled as biodegradable is there's no standard for that. And industry has already told us that when they use that marketing language, it's not tied to any kind of a national standard for biodegradability. Then you couple that with the fact that most products that you purchase do not have ingredients. So it's very difficult to ascertain if in fact you're using a product that may or may not be biodegradable. There was one study that was done where they had fed out standard soft plastic lures and lures that were marketed as biodegradable to bass. This was in like a controlled laboratory experiment. And after feeding the standard soft plastic lures and the biodegradable lures, what they found is the fish actually fed less after they had fed on biodegradable lures. So it just raises questions about what's in those things. And whether biodegradability is a realistic expectation moving forward. I do think in time, industry is going to have to move that way, but my impression is the technology just isn't there for them to overcome the current hurdles that exist as they relate to existing performance standards, national performance standards for biodegradability.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Brodigan? Seeing no questions, I guess we can close the report, move on. Is there anything else, Senator Dill? Linda, do you have any?
Not that I'm aware of, just the motion to adjourn, I guess, unless Rachel or Linda has anything.
Representative Lyford?
Thank you, Representative Landry. I've been trying to keep good notes. We've gone over quite a few bills. Are we going to have some work sessions coming up pretty soon to discuss some of these? Just wondering what the future plan was. Thanks.
Yes, we do. We worked on that this morning in our chairs and leads committee. And Linda, do you have the schedule?
Rachel.
Yep, I have it. I can answer that. Our first work session will be on the 24th, which is next week. We'll be working on LD 10 and LD 142. And then additionally, we are scheduling work sessions. And Linda, this is actually open in an email headed your way just in a moment. We're scheduling work sessions for Wednesday, March 3rd for LD 116, 212, and 294. And again, Linda's getting that email from me, and just a few moments when we close here, and she'll be advertising those 3 this week. I can also send out a full calendar from January, February that you can look back on. I can send that out to everybody.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Representative Hepler?
That was going to be my question. A full calendar would be great. Thanks.
Are there any other questions? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
By Representative Terrio, seconded by Representative Mason. We are adjourned.